Women, what surprised you the most the first time you saw or played with a PEEPEE? What surprised me most is that a man can be horny without being hard, or can be hard without being horny. Most of the time it's in sync, but sometimes the state of the cuck does not represent the state of the owner. I keep having to explain to my fiancée that just because I get hard when we are cuddling doesn't mean that I'm trying to have sex with her. I seriously just want to cuddle and not smash. I don't ever turn her down. She just thinks that I'm only cuddling with her to try to have sex, and that's not the case. I like close physical non-sexual intimacy. Definitely more on the silly side. But when I was 15 and took a trip to New York City, we went to a couple of museums. From internet usage and health class I knew what penises looked like in a drawn aspect, but suddenly seeing these nude marble statues with the 3D genitalia I was a little taken aback. I remember leaning over to my mom and whisper asking her if that's what they really looked like. Pretty sure she laughed at me. When he made it move all by itself, it blew my mind. How squishy it is. Flaccid. Not the penis, but testicles are alive. Like two separate, living entities in a soft skin bag. I could not believe how much they move around, and if you give them a little poke, they move even more. And then if it's cold, the skin underneath gets all thick and clumpy. They are extremely fun. How hard they actually get. Ball skin is constantly moving. Surreal. It's like a moving magic eye painting. The very first time I gave a BJ, I had no idea that anything was supposed to come out. I was shocked when suddenly my mouth was filled with warm goo. I just kept it going though, not sure what I thought was supposed to happen. The texture. When they said hard I didn't know what to expect, but it wasn't that. Like velvet covered steel. I had a very incomplete sex education, so I was surprised to see that the balls were underneath the penis, not on top at the base. The PP wasn't all one uniform color, was veiny, and don't even get me started on when I saw the balls. I remember thinking, why are they just hanging like that? The veins. Saw a grower, not a shower, and was super impressed by the size when erect compared to flaccid. Softness. I don't know what I expected honestly. It had ribs. I was confused as hell. It really felt like there were bones in there. Only later did I realize that it was the condoms we used that had those structures on it. Took a while for me to get used to the fact that pics usually don't have ribs. I had a female friend who, in 7th grade, thought a PP was the thickness of a pencil. Not sure if she had a heart attack the first time she saw one or not, but the shock must have been overwhelming. How goofy it looks when flaccid. Like it's just this weird stretchy knob hanging out between your legs. How can that not feel weird when you walk? How do you walk and not squish everything between your thighs with every step? Still blows my mind a little when I stop to think about it. Because it's technically not between the legs. It lies anteriorly at the lower abdomen. Also, the sensations are not generated while walking because the tactile receptors get desensitized by the touch of our thigh skin. That's a general property of receptors. The problem are balls getting squished between fat thighs while sitting in a tight spot. So I had never seen even so much as a picture of a penis. I had only seen babies naked, like while changing diapers. Not in a weird way, it's just true. So I was absolutely shook by the size of the thing. It was like 5x bigger than I expected, and I was freaked out. It reminded me of a dangling third leg. I was only like 16, and I'm mid-20s now. In hindsight, he may have had a massive pic, but at the time I just had no clue. I get a little goofy when I'm nervous, so I did the up down down left right movement with it, which is super fun. My now husband said, "Did you just use a cheat code for my pic?" So I guess it worked. Together for 12 years now. How completely floppy and structureless it is when soft. I always want to flop it around like those gel sparkle stress toy tubes from the 90s. What struck me the most was that it's just there, dangling away, all day, every day, just hanging out with its ball buddies. Like, how do you not sit on it? Is it not constantly annoying? Is the satisfaction of unsticking it from your thighs worth the discomfort of it sticking in the first place? I used to think that penises were shaped like a snowman. The phrase "hit in the balls" led me to believe that. I was a little surprised to see that wasn't the case. The way the skin is slack and slides up and down the shaft, and this is what you're supposed to do when giving a handy shandy. I always thought that you were supposed to run your hand over the skin, and the friction between the penis and your hand was what pleasured the guy. I now imagine that would be quite painful. The fact that I actually liked the way it looked and still find them aesthetically pleasing. I hear a lot of people talk about how ugly genitals are, and when you're a teenager and first start exploring sex, there were so many of my friends that said PEEPEEs are ugly. I just kind of believed them. Lived in a very Catholic household, so I didn't watch porn, but when I first saw and touched one, I was just startled by how much I liked the way it looked. How it looked so unappealing soft, but was instantly sexy when hard. My ex-girlfriend was shocked to find out that I was able to move it without using my hands. She made me do it for a solid minute the first time because she found it so amusing. My first boyfriend was big. Bigger than I've ever seen outside of porn. I'm pretty small, and he tried not to hurt me, but didn't really know how. Next guy was really small and kind of a jerk about it. Then I found my husband and his Goldilocks pic, and lived happily ever after. First time I saw a grown man's PEEPEE was in high school. My friend and I attended an adult figure drawing class. When we explained to our art teacher the following day that the model's PEEPEE was moving around and dripping the entire time, he was livid. We didn't realize that this wasn't normal because none of the adults in the class said anything about it and just acted like that was the norm. He, 50 meters, stared at my friend and I, 17F, the entire time. IDK, I'm so afraid I'm gonna break it, lol. I've only been intimate with my current partner and we're long distance, so I haven't had a ton of experience, but I always feel like I'm gonna break it. It seems so fragile. Still have some negative stuff in my brain about sex from a conservative upbringing, so I get nervous and awkward sometimes, lol. Also whiskey pick. Didn't know that was a thing and it's a huge bummer, lol. When I see him, he's on vacation and wants to relax and drink a bit, but just a bit, and he's out of commission for the evening and I get like an average of a week a year with him, so it sucks, haha. How hard it is when erect. It's legit hard. That's impressive. With how much blood gets in there, I'm surprised it doesn't make you guys dizzy. How much it grows, like the size difference between soft and hard. That's insane. The skin around it moves. I was completely baffled when I felt it the first time. It's so well made. I thought you guys had to stroke the skin to masturbe. Now it makes a lot more sense. How soft a soft PEEPEE is. Like you can twist that 360 degrees. What the hell, mayo? It's so funny, but also kinda gross looking. No offense guys, but a soft pic is not sexy. When my wife and I were first dating, we were on a long road trip. We were having a long meandering conversation about all kinds of stuff. Eventually, she was telling me about how a friend of hers had slept with like 3 guys in a row, who were all uncircumcised. She then casually added, "I've never had sex with a guy who is uncircumcised." Me, really? Never? Huh, nope. Not once. Me, you sure about that? Spoiler alert, she had. That morning. With me. How not smooth it was. IDK, how to describe it. It wasn't clammy like hands get, but I thought I'd be able to rub my hand up and down similar to how I do with my forearm, not much resistance. But nope, had to put some spit on that thing in order to move fluidly. Honestly, the only thing that ever surprised me about a PEEPEE was that they can twitch and move on their own. Kegels are great for everyone. Hilarious and sexy. Great combo. Actually, that's not entirely the only time I was surprised by a PEEPEE. My first child was a baby girl. No surprises there. My second was a wee boyan. Oh boy. The doctor was very kind to me about my worried questions, but he did laugh a bit because I was so startled and concerned about rolling my baby's foreskin back and seeing how red it looked underneath. He had to reassure me it was totally normal. Now I have male dog with hardly any hair and his pick is just always there and wagging. It wibbles and wobbles and PEEPEEs. Always hilarious.